From the moment Lucille Ball's infectious laughter filled millions of living rooms, America embraced her as the warm-hearted comedienne who could turn any mishap into pure joy. Yet behind that radiant smile lay a woman of formidable intelligence and exacting standards, someone who saw straight through polished facades to the beating heart beneath. As the first female boss of a major studio, Lucy didn't simply charm her way to the top. She commanded respect, shaped careers, and sometimes crushed them with a single icy glance. In whispered conversations with trusted confidants, Lucille Ball quietly catalogued 9 actresses whose private cruelty, reckless egos, or cold ambitions betrayed the glamour that dazzled the public. These were not temperamental artists or spirited divas. According to Lucy, these were personalities so toxic they endangered everyone around them. Today, we peel back the curtain on those whispered judgments and relive the moments that convinced Hollywood's greatest redhead that, even in Tinseltown, true character always reveals itself in the small, unseen moments. 1. Joan Crawford, the Ice Queen in perfection's cloak. In 1971, Joan Crawford graced the set of Here's Lucy with all the poised dignity of a film goddess. She arrived 3 hours early, insisting her dressing room temperature read exactly 68 degrees. Her lighting instructions spanned 5 typed pages. Even though a full makeup team stood by, she demanded her personal artists. On camera, Crawford practically bowed before Lucy. Off camera, she transformed into a merciless monarch. When a junior wardrobe assistant presented a dress with a faint crease, Crawford erupted. By the time her tirade ended, the poor girl was fleeing in tears, accused of being worthless and advised to clean toilets instead. Lucy watched in stunned silence, then quietly intervened on behalf of the trembling assistant. Years later, when Christina Crawford's Mommy Dearest revealed a childhood of abuse, Lucy simply nodded. "I believe every word," she told a friend. She saw that icy shell crack, and she knew something monstrous lay beneath. 2. Judy Garland, genius that left ruin in its wake. Judy Garland was the stuff of legends, voices that soared, laughter that charmed, heartbreak that moved millions. Publicly, Lucille lauded Judy's luminous talent. Privately, though, she seethed over the collateral damage of Judy's unreliability. On one ill-fated set visit in the 1970s, Lyon kept everyone waiting from dawn until mid-afternoon. Then Judy delivered 30 minutes of pure magic, before declaring herself too exhausted to continue. The entire day's budget evaporated, and the next morning 3 crew members were handed pink slips. Lucy, who had clawed her way up on punctuality and perseverance, found the fallout intolerable. "Talent doesn't excuse wrecking other people's lives," she told a producer. For Lucy, Judy's battle with addiction was tragic, but the chain reaction of financial ruin and shattered hopes was nothing short of criminal. Which side of Hollywood's hidden glamour surprises you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. 3. Zsa Zsa Gabor, phony elegance draped in diamonds. With her silk gowns and flirtatious accent, Zsa Zsa Gabor was a talk show darling. But Lucy saw an artifice so perfect it sickened her. At a charity gala, Zsa Zsa glided in beneath chandeliers, photographing every whispered compliment. The moment the flashbulbs faded, she snapped at volunteers like a queen denied her crown. Lucy, watching from across the room, murmured to a friend, "She's playing a part so well she's forgotten who she really is." For Lucy, Gabor's concocted persona, thick accent, fake marriages, endless furs, was a betrayal of every hard-won ounce of authenticity. It reinforced a Hollywood stereotype of women as mere ornaments, and Lucy simply refused to indulge it. 4. Bette Davis, talent ablaze, compassion extinguished. Bette Davis could fill a theater with her stare alone, but Lucy believed her intensity masked a darker edge. A mid-60s charity dinner became Lucia's private revelation. Davis spent the evening cutting down every waiter, soused with sarcasm and wielding insults like a rapier. Lucy, seated meters away, refused an invitation to join the table. "I'd rather keep my dignity," she later quipped. More than random barbs, Davis's cruelty was calculated. She demanded firings, reduced junior actors to tears for a single flubbed line, and wielded her star power like a cudgel. Lucy respected Betty's genius. She loathed how that genius pounded everyone else into the ground. 5. Barbara Stanwyck, the stone-cold virtuoso. Barbara Stanwyck built her legend on steely resolve, but in Lucy's mind the performance never ended. On set, Stanwyck could weep through a harrowing scene, then blink at the director and ask, "Sandwiches?" The actress treated emotion like a machine, powerful when activated but utterly detached otherwise. More chilling was the story of her adopted son Dion, with whom she eventually severed all ties. As a devoted mother herself, Lucy found this incomprehensible. "You don't walk away from your child," she told a friend. Stanwyck's unbreakable polish concealed a hardness Lucy simply couldn't abide. 6. Tallulah Bankhead, unchoreographed chaos. Tallulah Bankhead bestride a stage like a tempest, electric, magnetic, utterly uncontainable. On Lucy's sitcom, however, Bankhead's unpredictability was a production nightmare. She showed up drunk, forgot lines, inserted risque improvisations no network would allow, and once nearly knocked over $1 million camera in a wild flourish. Crew members, forced into overtime, whispered that working with Tallulah was akin to choreographing a hurricane. When it ended, Lucy warned Desi, "Never again." Talent was one thing, reckless endangerment was something else entirely. 7. Shelley Winters, the storm that broke furniture and spirits. Shelley Winters wore rage like a fine evening gown. At a Hollywood fundraiser, mere seconds of perceived disrespect transformed her into a cyclone of shouts, flung drinks, and broken glass. Nearby guests fled. Lucy, eyeing the wreckage, uttered, "That's why I never share a table with Shelley." It wasn't pure passion. Observers noted Winters's outbursts surfaced whenever she craved attention or felt slighted. Lucy saw straight through the temper tantrums and hated the manipulation it demanded, especially when it humiliated colleagues in front of their teams. Ava Gardner, sultry figure, heart of stone. Ava Gardner shimmered on screens with an exotic glow, but Lucy believed beauty shouldn't grant someone a license to wound. Gardner famously ridiculed assistants, reduced makeup artists to tears, and once mocked a young wardrobe girl for a faint wrinkle until the woman fled in sobs. At an industry party, Ava even whispered to Lucy that she was washed-up clown. Lucy shrugged off the insult, but raged at the casual cruelty. "If she'd been plain, she'd have to learn kindness," she told a friend. Instead, Hollywood's indulgence of Ava's looks had soured her soul. 9. Vivien Vance, from frenemy to forever friend. Perhaps the most unlikely entry on Lucy's list was her own Ethel Mertz, Vivien Vance. When the two first met, jealousy and suspicion crackled between them. Lucy feared Vance's charm would eclipse her, so she demanded contractual weight requirements that humiliated her new co-star. Vance called Lucy a jealous old broad. Lucy told Vance she'd be lucky to have a job at all. Their battles were legendary. Yet over a decade of trust, late-night talks, and shared grief forged a real bond. When Vance died of cancer in 1979, Lucy mourned deeply. She often reflected that their friendship, born in fire, proved even the coldest starts can warm over time. Behind the glamour, why Lucille's judgments mattered. Lucille Ball had everything the studio system valued: talent, charisma, unbeatable work ethic. She could have remained silent, shielded by her own halo. Instead, she used her unique vantage point, part star, part boss, to call out the venomous behaviors others endured in silence. She knew no single revelation would topple a career, because Hollywood's machine would protect valuable assets at all costs. Yet in her private verdicts, she upheld a simple test. How do these women treat the unseen workers, the assistants, the makeup artists? In those moments, Lucy believed, lay the litmus of real character. Hollywood's golden age glitters still, but behind every spotlight there were shards of shadow. Lucille Ball's secret ledger reminds us that for all the charm and laughter, there were times when the real show was happening off camera, and sometimes the truth was far darker than any script.